Hey, thank you for watching this video. I just want to start off by showing you a poll that I've run recently, and I've literally just posted this about 2-3 hours ago. I was asking the question, what is the best way to engage with people on LinkedIn? And by that question, I meant what's the best way to contact your prospects and have some kind of meaningful talk with them? And the answer is coming back. As you can see, most people are saying comment or like on posts. The reason for sharing this is just to say that this is almost the exact opposite of what I've found to work on LinkedIn. So I was going to show you how I would actually look to see if I could find clients on LinkedIn, and if it's something that works for you, then great. But so basically, you can see from here, most people are commenting, liking, making some kind of contact with people via posts. And I found the opposite's true. So let me tell you why that's the case. If I go to my feed here, you can see there's different people posting stuff, and there's a series of comments and a series of likes, but there's several issues here. There's several reasons why this doesn't really get you in front of your prospects. One of them is this. If I click on new posts, the post I've just seen will go down the screen. So if I've just posted something here, hoping somebody's going to like it and comment on it, it's already gone. The second thing is there's not really a link between the number of people liking your posts or making any kinds of comments. It doesn't necessarily translate into business. You might have hundreds or even thousands of people doing that. It doesn't necessarily mean they will end up being clients or working with you. Third thing is you've got no control over who actually sees this. So for instance, this post here or this post here, is this relevant to me? Is this relevant to the person watching it? Possibly, possibly not. It's not particularly targeted. So if you're posting something on LinkedIn, you will get people looking at it, you will get traffic, but you're not necessarily going to get targeted traffic. And the final reason that I've found that this doesn't really work that well is that you are relying upon the content or the article or the post to effectively do the selling for you. But we all know the phrase, people buy from people. So it's actually a much, much better way to actually get the kind of personal side of it forward. So how would I deal with this? A completely different way. So here's how I get clients on LinkedIn, and here's how I help my clients to get clients on LinkedIn. So we're kind of starting with the target audience first rather than the content. So I'm going to go over to Sales Navigator, which if you don't have it, I would urge you to give it some serious thought. It's got a very good filtering system here, and it's really, really helpful. So there's two main options here. Lead filters allows you to find people, basically, and account filters helps you to find companies. So I'm going to go into lead filters. So if you know clearly who your target audience is, it means you can filter anything that you want to put out as content, any kind of message directly to the right people, instead of just putting it out there hoping somebody will find it. So let's start off. So let's say, for instance, something that may or may not be helpful to start with this. Let's start with geography. Now, if you contact people within a close physical location to you, generally speaking, you will get a better engagement rate with those people. Why is that? Well, because we all tend to believe that people local to us are much more trustworthy. We also want to work with local companies. We like the idea of that. And thirdly, probably something that people don't actually say, but is also relevant: if things go wrong and you know where they are, you can go around and see them. So let's start off with areas close to me. So I live close to Brighton, so I can either find people based upon the town of Brighton, or the city of Brighton, should I say, or I can do a postcode radius. So my postcode starts, let me see, I'm just going to go for a Brighton postcode. So BN1 is a Brighton postcode. So I can now find people within a set radius area. So for instance, if I want to target people within a 10-mile radius of Brighton, I can do that. So not only does that mean straight away I've increased my chances of having contact with people, purely on the basis that I'm based locally to them. I can go and see them easily enough. They feel much more confident in terms of the fact that I'm local to them. It sounds nuts, but that's the fact. If you think about your own interactions with people, if you're moving house, for instance, and somebody offers to do the legal paperwork, are you going to go with someone who's local to the town, or are you going to go with someone who lives 200 miles away? We all know the answer to that question. So local is a very good starting point. Okay, next thing to do is to base it upon job titles. So quite often we can focus upon somebody's job title, but there's a very simple hack here that makes it very, very helpful. So for instance, if I put in the title Managing Director as a job title and press enter, it's going to bring me up all the MDs in that area. And that's fine, but what you find is as you get further down the page, it's going to pick up not necessarily managing directors, but it will pick up managing partners, because they've got the word manager in there, and IT directors. So i.e. it will pick up either of the words in that phrase. Okay, so a simple fix to that is basically to put your job title or any search really in double quotes. So if I now do that, and I'll get rid of this one here, we had 2,500 people coming up before, and now we've got slightly less people coming up on the basis of managing director gives you a much more focused search. Okay, so we have 2,500 managing directors within a 10-mile radius of Brighton. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus upon companies of a certain size. So I'm going to focus on, say, companies of 51 to 200 staff. So this is a fairly well-focused search. You can go into other detail. You can go into all kinds of other options, how long they will work for that company, do they have any certain skills? But I think that this is probably a pretty good starting point. So straight away, if you are selling a product or service to managing directors of companies of this size, you have a much stronger chance of actually getting into contact with prospects than you would just by posting something here, hoping the right people see it, and then hoping that the content that you've got actually does the selling or does the engagement for you. So you can save the search. Let's click on here, give it a name. I'm going to call it MDs Brighton, and I'm going to save it. And what happened then, you can then go back to that search later on. So as you can see, I've got a series of searches here. If I go back to that search there, I've got all those names there. Okay, so that's your first starting point. If you can think clearly about who your target audience is, what kind of people do you want to have contact with, as much detail as you possibly can. What's their job title going to be? Are they going to have any particular qualifications, any particular company size, any particular area? As much detail as you possibly can. Once you've got that, you can find those people. Okay, so next stage is, what do you say to these people? Okay, what do you say to them? Well, if you think about it, what do you want these people to do? Do you want them to look at a video or an article, or to read something that you've written? Do you want to organize a call with them? Do you want to visit them? Just think about what it is you actually want them to do. Then that's going to form the basis of the message you would actually have for them. So various things that you could try. Sometimes you can ask people to fill out a poll. You can ask them for their thoughts or their feedback on a certain subject. You can direct them towards any articles or videos that you've written. So for instance, here, instead of just posting it here, hoping somebody sees it, take exactly the same content, but then you can individually contact these people with that. It's much more meaningful because that then comes from somebody. And then, as we all know, if you contact somebody, you can get to see who that person is. So you can see their profile, you can get some more information. You kind of instinctively get to know whether you know, like, or trust that person. So there's a whole bunch of extra kind of selling points there that you don't readily get just from posting content to LinkedIn. Okay, so the third final point is, how do you actually contact these people? How do we contact the people on this list here? Well, there's various formats. You probably know that normally if someone's a first level person within your network, you can message them directly. So for instance, on this list here, 22 of these people I can contact directly because they're part of my network. However, there's going to be 174 of these people aren't part of my network. So how do I contact these people with something meaningful? Okay, so there's two main ways, but there's actually three, but I'm only going to focus on two of those ways for now. The first way is you can send a personalized invite to each person. So the rules here are that you can put up to 300 characters into your invite, and you can add links also. So again, if you want to direct somebody to a meeting booking page, a workshop link, an article, a video, a blog, there's lots of chances there. I mean, I personally have found that I can use this tactic to actually get people to go to my workshop booking page and get people booked in. So these are people who are not actually currently part of my network to start with. It's all down to the kind of targeting, what you're asking people to do. So that would be the obvious way, is to send a personalized invite to these people. And then the other thing you can do, if you are a premium user, so obviously this only works if you're using premium, and the other person is also a premium user, for instance here, as shown by the little premium symbol here, in most cases, you're able to send an email to this person without it actually costing you any of your email credits quota. So for instance, if I try to contact this chap here, who's not a premium user, if I try and send him an email, it's going to charge me effectively one of my credits. So I can do so, but I have to be fairly sparing about who I contact, because every time I do, it uses up one of my credits. However, if the person is a premium user, and I reckon roughly 1 in 5 people from what I can see on LinkedIn are premium users. So you can actually go through this list and you can find the people who are the premium users, send them a detailed email. Doesn't always work. I'm not quite sure why not, but certainly most of the time, if you contact a premium user, you will be able to contact them directly without it actually costing you anything. So for instance here, open profile means I can send this chap an email, and again, saying something to him, asking him to do a certain thing, engaging with him somehow, knowing that he's on my target list. So that is basically the essence of LinkedIn marketing, as in that's how I would actually contact people. So I was quite shocked really to see the results coming through in terms of here, because this is the opposite to what I found work. I think it's true to say most people do this as their way of trying to engage with people on LinkedIn, but I personally found this to be the least effective way, and this to be the most effective way to do that. So, okay, thank you for watching this. If you've got any questions, please post them below. I'm also going to put a link to, we do a managed service where we basically do this whole thing for our clients for a fixed fee each month. So we help you to create the searches, help you ask the right questions to make sure that you have your target audience, help you to create the right kind of messages to send to people, and then we help with the process of actually contacting people, because we found that often what stops people from doing this isn't that it's difficult, it's just time. And also sometimes there can be a great difference in the results you get if you haven't quite targeted the right people, you haven't quite sent the right message. So brilliant. Okay, thank you for watching this. As I said, any questions, please let me know. Thank you and goodbye.